As someone who legitimately is terrified of everything, I have to say, like, there's a lot of me that's like, okay, this is gonna work in my favor, because if I don't really feel scared, you're not going to feel scared. I don't manufacture emotion. I create the world. The world's already created for me, and then I let it kind of like, I embodied it.
The Blackening comes out in theaters on June 16th. And anyone you can answer this, but how would you best describe this movie?
It is a horror comedy about a group of friends who go to a cabin in the woods to celebrate Juneteenth, celebrate freedom. But that is ruined by a psycho killer who wants them dead, and they have to rely on each other and their blackness to survive. Will they? Find out on June 16th.
June 16th in theaters.
And theaters nationwide.
Yeah, I got a chance to see the movie last night, and I think what stood out is just so original. It's a story that we haven't seen before, especially in the horror comedy genre. So was it the fact that the story was so original that you wanted to be part of this film?
Most definitely. I mean, you read something like the script that was handed to me, and I was like, okay, well, the notion that I would never do horror was something that was very firm in my mind. And I was like, this changed everything. I was like, I see how well written this is. I can picture myself in this friend group as this character. Like, I see these multidimensional characters. They have layers. I understand the dynamics between them. I see different hues of blackness. I see different people from different walks of life, like not necessarily showing the world, but just like being themselves authentically, so that the world can see, like, we're not a monolith. I was like 110%. I was like, I feel like I would regret it if I didn't take part in this brilliance.
Of course. And Melvin, you play King in the movie. What was the best thing about playing your character? Because I really enjoyed your character in the film.
Me too.
Yes,
Thank
me too.
I appreciate it, y'all. Outside of just being an artist who want to, like, creatively challenge myself, outside of that, I really lean into play these thug roles. Like, I enjoy it in a sense just because I grew up around these people all the time, and they're a lot more than what meets the eye, and a lot more than what how they're illustrated on screen. They're people. They do things for a reason. A lot of times they're scared. They're projecting an image. And me being able to play these people, I can shape the characters in that way to make them more human. And in this script, a lot of the work was already done. You know what I mean? He had a storyline that explained that he's not who they thought he was. Yeah. But in dire circumstances, some of those things may come to help him, save the day, these survival instincts that he picked up along the way. But he's a person. He has ambitions. He has relationships that mean something to him. So that was exciting for me.
Absolutely. And Antoinette, you play Lisa in the film, and she gets terrified in the movie quite a bit. And it's interesting because from what I understand, you're not a fan of horror films. So was it difficult for you to be in this film and just be scared pretty much all the time?
All of it was real. I promise. It's so funny because, like, I loved when, I guess, like, envisioning the arc. Like, the arc was already there, but then Tim and I kind of spoke about it, and I was like, God, I feel like playing this straight in a lot of these moments makes more sense. So, like, we took out a lot of the jokes that were in certain instances where it's like the seriousness of the situation. Like, I feel like if you don't have the gravity of the situation and the groundedness of, like, the circumstance, then, like, the comedy can't fly the way that it's intended to fly, if that makes sense. But, like, as someone who legitimately is terrified of everything, I have to say, like, there's a lot of me that's like, okay, this is gonna work in my favor, because if I don't really feel scared, you're not going to feel scared. I don't manufacture emotion. I create the world. The world's already created for me, and then I let it kind of, like, I embodied it in my head, in my world. I existed in that world.
In an honest way.
In an honest way, and it's, I have to say, like, legitimately one of my favorite things I've ever done. I have to say.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And Dewayne, you played Dewayne in the film, but you're also a writer on the film as well. Yes. So how is it, help creating the story and being part of the story, playing such a great character?
I felt like a god. No, it's as as a creative, like as an actor, I really struggled to find parts that felt like worthy to play. I often felt like the roles that I was asked to audition for always felt like a caricature. It never felt like people with my identity were afforded the privilege to like exist fully. So having an opportunity to really write a character that I want as a person of my identity, like the idea of like representation like matters, like it really does. And I really wanted to write something that spoke to me, that was a film that me and my peers could watch and feel seen. And also like no one knows me better than me. And so the ability to give myself the privilege to show my range, to show the masculine side of myself, the feminine side of myself, and really allow people to view queer Blackness in a way that is depthful, that really forces people to question how they perceive a character like this. It sucks that in order to do this, I had to write a whole movie. But now I'm like, look what we did. And now,
gonna do it, I do it.
Yeah, and now it's a part of like the cinematic lexicon. And that I feel like, for the first time, I feel like, oh, this is this is part of my legacy, being able to do this for myself and in turn for everyone like me.
Absolutely.
Brilliant introduction.
Wow. Yeah. Well, as I was saying, it's a great film. I really enjoyed your characters. Dewayne, Antoinette, Melvin, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And continued success to all three of you.
Thank you so much.